Yo, Sanjay Uchiha here, people, and I'm bringing you my review for Boruto Naruto Next Generations episode 20, titled The Boy with the Sharingan. Before getting into it, rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think about this review or what you thought about the episode, but getting right into it. So, honestly, in terms of summary, there's not much to say about this episode. If you've read the manga, Naruto, the Seventh Hokage, and the Scarlet Spring, the extra 10 chapters of the manga that this anime adaptation is based on, then you'd realize it's basically more or less a one for one adaptation from that, in which we see Sarada and Chocho. They journey to the outskirts of the village, following Naruto to go and meet up with Sasuke, which is the basic premise for this episode, honestly speaking. Definitely what I will say is that compared to the arc before this, I like how there's a noticeable difference in the writing quality. And it's basically what I said last week, considering that the story here is written directly by Kishimoto himself when compared to the previous arc, which I'm assuming would have been written by Studio Period. And those episodes, if you've watched my early reviews, you'd realize that I'd say like week after week that those episodes were kind of episodic, kind of self-contained. But in comparison to here, we can obviously see we're leading up to the climax of the arc. It's not really self-contained when compared to those. So that was definitely one thing I liked about this episode and last week's episode as well. And obviously that will continue until this arc is over. Definitely the pacing this week for the episode is definitely a step above last week, considering last week in terms of adaptation, it was literally like I checked it. It was like a chapter and some pages that last week's episode was based off. So last week felt kind of slow, a bit dragged out. But this chapter was based on some stuff from chapter 2, 3, and 4. So it didn't feel like it was being dragged out. Definitely like that about this episode. The art and animation definitely consistent throughout. There weren't any noticeable drops. Of course, there's some interesting and funny tidbits. One of my favorite moments in the episode, of course, was after Naruto comes to save Chocho and Sarada from Shin. There's this section where he's describing Sasuke for Chocho and Sarada, and he's basically saying that, back in the day that he and Sasuke were the top scorers. They were the most famous when it came on to dealing with the Kunoichi, the female ninja at the time. And you there as a viewer who probably watched Naruto, all these years, Naruto's just there lying through his teeth on his part, because he ends every sentence when he's comparing himself to Sasuke, like Sasuke was this just like me. So that was pretty funny. I like that. Nice touch by Kishimoto there. Definitely love the action, the small exchange between Sasuke and Shin in the beginning. Shin's not too bad of a combatant, but obviously it's Sasuke. He's OP. He's at least the second strongest ninja on the planet. So Shin's not going to likely winning anything here. So there was that. Of course, by this episode, we don't really advance in the plot too much, in the sense that we don't figure out what Shin is, or the Caped Crusader, as I call him, or the new masked man, as I'd called him back when the manga was coming out for this. But obviously I know, but I'm not giving any spoilers. But if you want to know, that's up to you. You can always comment or whatever you kids do. But yeah, so by the end of this episode, we do have Naruto going to meet up with Sasuke. We actually get to the tower where Sasuke is, so that's some progression there. And we have Sarada actually meeting with Sasuke, and obviously Sasuke feeling that she's one of Shin's associates, so there's that. So obviously he's forgotten the face of his daughter, so that's another debate, I suppose. But all in all, it wasn't too bad of an episode. I liked it. Definitely probably one of the best episodes of Boruto Naruto Next Generations in terms of its structure. Yeah, the story, it's progressing. That's the important part. But anyway, let me know what you think about this review / impressions of episode 20 of Boruto. Predicting that this arc will last only about 3 more episodes at best, considering they've gone up to chapter 4 of this little manga miniseries, and it's only 10 chapters. So they could probably adapt 2 chapters per episode, just for pacing's sake. So each episode from here on would be, it's properly paced, doesn't drag on for too long. But I'm looking forward to next week. And yeah, so rate, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. And I'll see you in the next one.